Class, today we're going to get into Lesson 10. Lesson 10 is a busy one. There'll be plenty to do this week. We have two topics, return on investment and conversion tracking, and optimizing ad performance. Project 3 will be due. As a reminder, that's the 2 screenshots. You can see the screencast from last week for specific instructions, but that project is simply the 2 screenshots to turn in. And then we will also discuss instructions for Project 4. So a busy week. You'll also have your reflection and biweekly survey. Let's start with ROI and conversion tracking. The real power in Google AdWords, the format may or may not be the best platform for your company to advertise, but the power in Google AdWords is that you can measure down to the penny the effectiveness of the financial effectiveness of your advertising. And so you know exactly the return. If it's set up correctly, you know exactly the return on your financial investment, how much you're getting back for each dollar you're spending in Google AdWords. So this will help you understand a little bit about how to measure that. The key in this process, the key to measuring your return on your investment is your conversion tracking. And this is oftentimes the most challenging concept for students to grasp in the course, I think because we use the term conversion a little differently. That's in our vernacular as members of the church. And so it can be challenging to change that way of thinking. But think about conversion this way in terms of Google AdWords. Conversion is when you take a visitor and change them into a paying customer, and convert them into a paying customer. And that will look a little different for each of you. If you're selling a product, that's a little bit more straightforward because you've converted them into a paying customer the moment they purchase the product. So you might track that conversion by putting a code, this code snippet, on the thank you page that says thank you for your purchase. That way you know they've purchased something. For others, it's a little bit more challenging. If you've set up Google AdSense, then you have converted a visitor into a paying customer when they click on an ad. If you have an affiliation agreement, you've converted a customer when they make a purchase by clicking on your affiliate link and purchasing the product. So you'd have to work with your affiliate company to be able to track that and factor that back in. So what you want to do in this process is determine how the closest you can get to a conversion page. As I said, if you're selling a product, it's fairly straightforward. It's the page after your visitors purchased a product. That's a conversion page. For others, it may be a little bit more challenging. Maybe you can determine what percentage of people visit your blog page, or what percentage of people that are visiting your blog page actually click on the advertisements. And you can do that by looking at your Google Analytics data and seeing total visitors and combining that with the number of clicks you get on advertisements. And then that can be your conversion page, but from that you'll be able to determine, all right, if I get 10 people on my conversion page, one of them is going to click on an advertisement from Google AdSense, which will result in this much revenue coming in. And so there's a little bit of math to it to determine, one, what your conversion page is, and two, what that means for you financially. But just because it can get a little complex, I highly recommend you not shy away from this and spend enough time on it, because it is such a powerful tool to know, is your advertising effective, and how you can drive a better return on your investment. It's just really good business sense to know, if I spend $2 on Google AdWords, what am I going to get back in return for that? So that will be your ROI and conversion tracking. Project 3 is due here. Let's talk about optimizing ad performance a little bit. So in this assignment, you're going to go through some fictional data and go through and start to analyze some of the data in your Google AdWords. So if you click on this Google AdWords data document, that'll pull up this. Let me see if I can get us a little better shot. There you go. And it will really just walk you through the basic data that you should be seeing in your campaign. You should be seeing something similar to this at this point. This might be a little bit more robust than your data, but you should be seeing something similar to this on your dashboard. And you'll use this data and go through the questions here in 1.2. And then as you come to understand what this data is, we're going to take it a step further and start to analyze keywords and start the process of improving it. So now it's not only understanding what the data is, it's how you use the data to make your ads better. And these articles will walk you through a little bit of that. You'll download this Excel file. I'll see if I have that Excel file accessible. So here's what that Excel file will look like. Again, when you pull up your keywords in AdWords, you should see similar data. And you'll use this, and based on this, you'll consider what keyword you want to add, delete, or pause, and what ads you want to add, delete, or pause. And that will be the crux of this assignment. But it's really taking you into how do you use the data that comes from AdWords, and how do you make actionable changes based on that. And this is a process that all effective digital marketers do. They go through their advertisements regularly and saying, all right, which one can I update? Which one can I pause? Which one can I include in my campaign? And it's a constant, Google AdWords is a constant feedback loop. And so those who are best at digital marketing can use that on a consistent basis, whether it's a monthly review or a weekly review or a quarterly review of saying, how do I improve these AdWords and do it a little bit better. That's the skill set that this is teaching you, and Project 4 will do the same. So that will lead us down to Project 4. And the instructions for Project 4 are to help you take your current campaign and take a snapshot of it. Say, here's where I'm at in my Google AdWords campaign. I've just started the basics. Now I want to make it better. And so you'll do essentially a before and after overview. And that's what I'll pull up the spreadsheet in just a minute, but sheet 1 will be where you record your before and after numbers. Sheet 2 is a list of your keywords, showing which ones you will add, delete, or pause. And then sheet 3, your ads, where you'll go through the performance there and talk about the changes you make to your ads. And then sheet 4 will be landing pages and how you improve those. So it's really saying, all right, you have keywords, ads, and landing pages. Those are 3 components you'll need to improve over time. Let's take a current snapshot of before, and then let's make some changes and take time to measure it. So for this project, as you are budgeting for your keywords, you'll want to make sure you can run it through at least the next 2 weeks. And so if you've got a limited budget on your AdWords, make sure you budget accordingly so that you can last throughout the next couple weeks to be able to make the before and after to gather the data for this. You should be running AdWords at this point, so you should have some data before, and then you can make changes and take time to measure afterwards to get that after changes numbers. The spreadsheet looks like this, and you can see the before and after where you'll enter it in. There's prompts throughout where you can add keywords, ads, and landing pages. So the project is not too complex. The challenge is making sure you time it correctly to capture the before data and then make the changes, have time to measure to show the data after those changes. And that'll do it for lesson 10. Like I said, a busy week. You'll have a weekly reflection and bi-weekly survey. Thanks, everyone.